Hey, supply chainers, wherever you are in the world, this is Sarah Barnes-Humphrey with you today. Are you ready? Let's talk supply chain. Hello, supply chainers, and happy Tuesday. So excited to be back here with you for Thoughts and Coffee. My name is Sarah Barnes-Humphrey. I am the founder and host of the Let's Talk Supply Chain podcast, as well as the Blended podcast. And now we've got our nonprofit called the Blended Pledge, and we're going to be seeing more diverse voices on industry stages. But just like the Fastenal ad you just saw, we could not do this show without our sponsors. Emerge is proud to partner with Thoughts and Coffee to elevate our combined focus on empowering and growing meaningful relationships in the freight industry. The first and only freight-specific RFP platform. Emerge is reinventing freight procurement by offering solutions that enhance the spot and contract procurement process, enabling shippers to make the most strategic decisions possible, saving invaluable time, and enhancing productivity. Learn more at emergemarket.com/thoughts and coffee. Well, as you can see, I got a new camera. I'm really excited about that. And I just realized that the title for today's show does not match the articles that we're going to be talking about today. I don't know what happened, but we were going to talk about an article about where hotel soap actually goes when you use it. So I'm going to move that article to next week, and we're going to be talking about that. But today, we're going to be talking about data. We're going to be talking about what's happening in the wine and spirit industry. So much to talk about. And Susan Walsh is going to be my guest for today, which I'm super excited about. But before we can do that, let's get to what is happening with Let's Talk Supply Chain this week. So this week so I don't know if you guys know this, but Rob Garrison hosts a live show with us, and he's actually going live at noon Eastern today, with his show called First Things First. We took one of the shows that he had over the last couple of weeks, and we turned it into a Let's Talk Supply Chain episode. So if you missed it, well, if you miss any of our live shows, you can go and check them out at the Let's Talk Supply Chain YouTube page. But if you missed this particular one, we've turned it into a podcast episode. So if you like to listen to audio versus video, we have this one for you. So go and check it out wherever you subscribe to Let's Talk Supply Chain. Plus, we've got it on the website, episode 262. What else is happening? Oh, we got lots of events coming up. Are you thinking about going global? I actually had the prep call with these guys yesterday, and Sean at Nucleus has so many people giving him a call about going global right now. It's kind of crazy. So if you are even thinking about going global, you're going to want to register for this particular webinar that we've got coming up Wednesday, May 25th at noon Eastern, because we're going to be talking about what you're thinking about when you go global, what questions you might have. This is the time to ask those questions, because Mark and Sean do this for a living, and they can really help get your mindset around going global and what that can mean for your business. Log Tech Live, Eric is doing 2 shows a month now, and he went live last Friday. So if you missed it, go to the Let's Talk Supply Chain YouTube. We've also got Unleashing the Full Connected Potential of Logistics, and you can go and check that out, register. It's in Chicago, June 1st and 2nd as well. We've got action items with DC Stragola. That is going to be live this Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Of course, we've got No Bullshipping with Hope White that happens at the end of the month. First Things First is going live today. And we've got Coming in Hot with Abby Baird as well. Plus, I have an exciting announcement. So, yesterday I just signed the agreement, and I'm going to be the MC and the moderator for Hapag Lloyd's 175th Global Management Meeting in Hamburg at the end of the month, which I am super excited about. And I just want to thank them for having me because this is such an amazing opportunity. The other thing I want to talk about is blended. So we're now at 7,300 plus. We are selling exclusive grants to companies to endorse and have diversity on industry stages. So come and join us. AJ will post the link to the GoFundMe page as well. Plus, we've got some brand new merch in the Let's Talk Supply Chain shop. Oh, you guys can't even see this. We've got some brand new merch in the Let's Talk Supply Chain shop. So go and check it out. This is my new mug. So it says, I like to move it, move it. We've got a t-shirt for this as well. And so if you are the follower of the month, remember, we give a mug away to the follower of the month every single month. But you have to go and engage on our Let's Talk Supply Chain LinkedIn page. So you can get this one now or the supply chain management one as well. Anyways, I think that's really about it. Oh no, I just wanted to do one more thing. We've got TikTok. I don't know if you guys are following us on TikTok, but Abby Baird and CJ are now creating content for our TikTok page all about supply chain management. And so we'd love to see you over there. Now I've got a little bit over, and now it's time to bring up Susan Walsh.
Hello.
Hello,
Good morning.
Susan.
So
How
nice to
are
see
you?
you. Well, I don't even think you need me. You're doing an awesome job, just
Oh, I
like
know about that.
rocking it with all the merch and all these shows. You don't need me.
Of course I do. You are the amazing classification guru, and I'm just honored to have you on my show today. I
I'm
mean, we
honored to
do
be
have,
asked.
I always feel like we have so much that I've got to go over that's happening in Let's Talk Supply Chain. So I definitely need a guest for that because people do not want to hear me talk about that for 30 minutes.
I have to say, like, because it's been, well, it's a year or more since I was last here. You have
Mhm.
seriously leveled up on this. It's awesome
Oh.
to see.
Thank you. And you as well. Tell us. Okay. First of all, for anybody who doesn't know you, which I don't even know if there's a soul out there that doesn't know who you are,
Yeah.
can you do a bit of an introduction and talk about where people can see you? Because I know you've got a lot of really great speaking engagements coming up too.
I know, it's so exciting. So I am Susan Walsh. My business is the Classification Guru. It used to just be me, but now there are 6 of us. And I'm a fixer of dirty data. So I work with, procurement, supply chain, categorize their data, normalize the suppliers, show them what they're actually spending their money on or using, and helping them make better business decisions and getting rid of those nasty duplicates and
I love that.
typos and all that kind of stuff.
Well,
And
and like, you can say you can have like 3 different words for one product, which like totally throws data like completely out of whack.
I've just been helping a company build a global taxonomy in the food area. And so we've called chips here in the UK are fries,
Yes.
but so in the
Mhm.
taxonomy they're called fries. But if somebody in the UK was typed in chips, they wouldn't be able to find them. And the whole biscuits versus cookies thing. Um, there's a lot of things in data where there's more than one right answer, and so
Mhm.
it's about being consistent and getting those right. And also, let's face it, it's a boring subject, so let's have some fun with it.
Oh, we are gonna have so much fun today. One that I do need to bring up because I was telling somebody about this the other day. Flannel. So I don't know if you grew up
Oh
calling
yeah,
a
face cloth.
washcloth a
Yeah.
flannel, but I did. And so everybody here looks at me like I got 3 heads, or they think I'm talking about a flannel shirt. So
Yeah, our dressing gowns. People don't know what dressing gowns are.
house
Bathrobes
coats.
or house
Right.
coats. Yeah.
So when you're thinking about data, think about the different words that you use that people don't necessarily recognize for a product that you're talking about, right? So dressing
Yeah.
gowns or house coats, flannel for washcloth. These are the types of things that can just totally destroy
Yeah, I've got an
data.
American sister-in-law, and tank tops, are vest tops. Like tank tops are vests to us. It's
Okay.
like tank tops are like jumper. Like it's a totally different thing. And obviously the whole pants, trousers or pants, knickers, all that
Yes.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
Well, knickers, underwear. For
Yeah.
people that don't understand what Susan's saying, I totally get it because I grew up in a British household. So
Yeah.
I definitely know exactly what you're talking about. All right. So we have to get to our poll of the week. I'm so excited that you're here. So, and the other thing that I want to say is I was watching the news this morning. It is 97 degrees in Wichita, which if that doesn't say climate change, I don't know what does. So anybody in Kansas today, it's going to be a hot one.
Send
Anyway,
some
let's
this
get
way.
to the poll of the week. So last week, last week we asked you, I thought this was kind of funny.
I love
Does a
this.
straw have 1 or 2 holes? Okay. So this came up, I think it was a debate that somebody was having the other day. So 65% of you said 1 hole, 35% of you said 2 holes, and we still have a week left and we have 868 votes and 25 comments. I mean, people love this one. What did you think about this, Susan?
I love it. And also who these crazy 35%? It's clearly one solid hole. If you cut the straw in half, then it would be 2 holes.
Oh, no. Okay, wait a second. How does that even work? Because if you cut it in half, it's just a smaller straw.
But it's 2 straws, so it's 2 separate holes.
Okay. So you go from
One
one
straw
straw.
is like 1 hole that goes all the way through.
Now you're just complicating the whole thing. So Jeff says, I look at it differently. If the straw had a hole, it would leak. No. And then Jessica said, if it only had one, would it still be a straw? William says a straw has 1 hole that runs its length and is open at both ends.
Yes. That's
Jeffrey
kind
says
of what I
a
said.
new straw should have no holes. It has open ends. And then Sean said there's 1 hole at each end.
What about the middle?
Well, and then Chris says, how many sides does a straw have?
Doesn't have sides.
So Marlena, from a mathematical point of view, the straw has only 1 hole, but the answer really depends on the reader's point of view. Now we're getting like totally technical on this.
This is deep.
Davin agrees with you and says 1. I need to look over on my personal LinkedIn and see what everybody is saying about this straw comment. But it was interesting to see how many people were kind of fighting over whether it was one hole or 2 in this whole straw debate.
love it.
I mean,
Yeah.
crazy. I love it. All right, so let's get to the monthly hustle. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I have a LinkedIn newsletter called the Monthly Hustle that comes out, I think it's the second Monday of every month. And this month we were talking about toxic leadership. So in this particular newsletter, we were talking about what that actually means. So I posted an Adam Grant quote, I think about a week or so ago, about toxic leadership. And I actually had somebody comment on there and say, what does this actually mean? What is a toxic leader? And how do you bring people together? Is it through team building and different things like that? And so we decided to write this particular newsletter based around that. And so we give some tips and tricks. We talk about, I even have a quote from somebody that works with me on what it means as far as good leadership from their point of view and what I kind of do right. Maybe I think they may have said something that I do wrong, but mostly what I do right, which was really, really great to see. And so I don't know if you had a chance to read this, Susan, because it just came out yesterday. But do you have some sort of thoughts on like toxic leadership? Do you have any thoughts on how you lead your team? And some of the things that people can do to sort of avoid that. And if they're in a toxic situation, what should they do?
Oh, so I have been on both ends of that. And sorry, I didn't get a chance to read it because I
good.
was on a party boat in London on the Thames last night.
Oh,
So,
wow.
had a few Prosecco's. So I've had a toxic leader who criticized I've had a few actually. So one of them criticized I was too cheery on the phone, I was too loud, I was too nice, all those kinds of things. People who come into a room, we call them mood hoovers or a mood vacuum, I guess, for North
Oh,
America. Like,
okay.
that someone
I like
steps
that.
into a room and just sucks all the energy out the air.
Mhm,
Um, as a leader, I don't always get it right, but I am
mhm.
accountable for the times that I don't get it right, and admit when I don't get it right and try to learn. And I constantly ask for feedback. I would never ask anything of my team that I wouldn't be prepared to do myself.
Yes,
Um,
so important.
yeah. And just toxic, it spreads. It's like you just
Mhm.
that negativity, it's there, and then it just spreads. It only takes one person to
Yeah.
ruin an office like atmosphere.
Yeah, and
um
I think feedback is really, really important. Checking in, talking to people. What's working?
yeah,
What's not working? How can I better support you?
yeah,
Just because, the way that I feel like I should be supporting somebody is not necessarily how
they
they
want to, yeah,
they want to be supported or what they need. And so feedback, checking in, is really, really important for really like good leadership and for keeping people. And I think if you're in a toxic situation, I think putting yourself first, right? What does that look like? Because you've given so much to the company. So what does that look like by putting yourself first? And what's that biggest priority? If the biggest priority is to find somewhere else to work, research. Do your research. What company do you want to go work for? Talk to some people that work there, and make that your focus, make that your priority. And then you got something that you're working towards. So,
yeah.
just a couple of things if somebody is in that particular situation or is looking for a change or things like that, or if you're a leader, really, really, some really, really important points just to think about so that we can change some of these environments and make, workplaces a good, fun place for
And
people to be.
I would say some people are aware of what they're doing and they do it intentionally, but some people genuinely are not aware that they might be spreading toxic vibes. So
Audrey loves it. Mood Hoover, so descriptive. She loves that. I want to do a quick hello, Felipe, Jonathan, Anatoly, Tim. And Tim loves you, by the way. He's talking all about you on
Hey.
my personal social. Amanda and Keith over on my personal LinkedIn. Keith actually says we're going to need a spreadsheet for this show. So
Ah,
I know
yay!
we're trying to get away from those. All right, let's
Keep it
get to
clean.
our. Sorry.
Keep it clean.
Yeah, keep it clean. You gotta okay, start the spreadsheet, then call Susan. All right, let's get to our first article. So, the first article is about wine and spirits and how they're navigating the supply chain chaos. Now, I loved this article. I came across this article a couple of days ago, and it really quotes all sorts of different people. It quotes Allison from the Wine and Spirits Shippers Association. They talk to small shippers, they talk to large shippers, and they really talk about what the challenges are. One of them was quoted in this article. They actually bring product in from Panama, and his quote was something like, "Throw the contain can't they just throw a container on a boat in the Panama Canal and get it to New Jersey?" Which I thought, being a supply chainer, you're kind of like, that's not how it works. But when you think about other people where supply chain isn't their number one focus, these are the kinds of things that they talk about, right? So, what did you think about this? You're a Prosecco lover. The glass
Yeah.
bottles are in high demand and, it's causing some disruption and you might be out of prosecco in a little bit. What do you
I
think?
know. The first thing that I thought when I read this was, like, as a business owner, always have a backup plan. Like, where was his backup plan?
Yeah.
And I also see opportunity. So
Mhm.
we can't get stuff from Panama anymore. Is there an opportunity to set something up locally? Can we source things locally, or can we set up a new manufacturing thing? Can we bring manufacturing back regionally?
Yeah.
Or are there new packaging options out there that the industry as a whole has been too oh no, we can't possibly use this, but actually maybe this is an opportunity to get more sustainable.
Mhm.
you know I just see opportunity everywhere.
Yeah.
And it might be a slightly generalistic, and uh not everything is easy to get hold of, but I mean, I truly believe that when things like this happen, there's always an alternative. You can always do something.
Mhm.
bring your own bottle and get your Prosecco refilled. Let's do that
Let's
instead.
do that. I love it.
Hell,
Can
you
you
know what?
imagine? It's like gonna be a whole
Send
experience.
send me the whole truck. I'll look after it for you. Don't worry.
You just need one of those like taps,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's so funny. Well, Davin says Jack Daniels was in short supply for the last year.
Yeah.
No, that's
Oh.
not good.
Why not
But
plastic or something else, short term, make it limited edition rather than making it
yeah,
a problem. Let's make it limited edition and like more desirable.
well,
But I was
and
thinking of like a gas station and like a prosecco station or a whiskey station. Just
at
come
the
and
gas station,
fill up.
that might be a bit of an issue. Um, maybe at the grocery store.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
just
Davin just said like a water machine at the
yeah,
grocery store. I think
yes,
that's a great idea. So you've got the big, water jugs that can be filled with
yeah.
prosecco instead. I just don't know how they're going to keep the bubbles if they do that.
If I'm around, it won't last long enough to go flat, so it's fine.
All right. So some of the highlights from this article that you're going to want to go and check out. So Allison from the Wine and Spirit Shippers Association used a new term that I liked, reliable unreliability. I thought that was pretty cool. They were saying that the labor crisis is contributing. Warehouse space is difficult to secure, and glass bottles they can't get right now. But they're saying that customers are being more understanding. So there is a bit of a silver lining. They're also talking about hiring just for supply chain. So if you're in supply chain, there's industries like the wine and spirit industry that are looking for people that know supply chain and can come in and help them navigate some of the disruptions that are happening for them right now. They're also looking at 6 to 7 months of inventory, reducing their SKUs. I don't know about you, but I'm seeing this in retail already, is that retailers across the board are reducing their SKUs. And one of the other things that I thought was funny that somebody said was that there's no accountability with the logistics providers and they're just putting it on the customers. If that's the case, you might be working with the wrong partner and you might want to source another one. Just saying.
Interestingly, so with the SKU rationalization, I used to work in like manufacturing, and it's like you would have a toothpaste pack for this retailer and then a slightly different size of the same toothpaste, like 50 mils less for this supplier, and they might be the same price or slightly cheaper. And it's like, yeah, let's just put the same thing everywhere,
Yeah. So Shanna says Buffalo Trace bourbon is very hard to find, and Davin says I don't think I've ever had that. I don't think I've ever had that either. So if you find
It's
it, we might have to distribute a shot for Thoughts and Coffee one morning, so that we can all try it. All right, we got to get to our next article. So what are we talking about? We're talking about supply chain trends in 2022. Are you ready to beat the heat? Now, this article is written actually by Throughput. And Throughput had an episode on the podcast a couple of months ago. So go onto the Let's Talk Supply Chain website and go and check out their podcast episode to hear more about what they do. But I loved this article. And one thing that really stood out from this article was that they said data contains all your answers. Now, Susan, talk to me about this. Does data contain all the answers for an intelligent supply chain and to mitigate all the disruptions?
It has a lot of answers, maybe not necessarily the right ones though. Is your data clean? Is it accurate?
Mm-hmm.
Is it trustworthy?
Mm-hmm.
Is it being maintained? There are, I have heard stories of people manipulating the data to make it look the way they want. So you can do whatever you want with data. It's whether you are ethical with it, I think, is a better question. Are you actually showing it as it is, or are you making it look, putting a bit of lipstick and making it look a bit, putting a filter on, like an Instagram filter on your data?
Well, because they're talking about how supply chain professionals, or actually the system, the supply chain system, the supply chain people can only do so much. And right now we've got a very exhausted workforce. And so what they're saying is the answer to that is the intelligent supply chains. But it starts with the data. And, we talk about data all time, but I think a lot of people don't really know where to start. They don't know whether it's clean. They don't know whether it's ethical. Like, so, what do they do? How do they start? And how can they wrap their heads around data actually helping them in their day to day so that we are working smarter and not harder?
I think we need to be realistic. The data is there, and but it's not always in a usable or understandable or workable format. So, for
Okay.
example, I do a lot of spend data classification in the procurement space. So, procurement can look at their data, and there could be lots of potential savings in there, but because it's not categorized and because they've got multiple suppliers with the same name, they have no idea how much they're spending with one supplier, on what, when. It has to be categorized and grouped and organized before you can even start to look at it. So, yes, you can get answers from the data, but it might not necessarily be in a state that's ready to give you answers. So,
Yeah.
I was looking, AI will help. Yes,
Yes.
it will, but only if the data that it's based on is correct. You need to know if it's correct before you start using the AI. Otherwise, it's going to lead you down a path that could be quite disastrous.
Well, and I think you need to know what answers you're looking for.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Like they
So,
don't just magically appear.
yeah, it's not just going to go, hey, Sarah, did you know this? Yeah, and I say this to my clients before when we have our initial meetings, don't think about what you need for right now. Think about what you ultimately need long term, and let's work towards that.
Mhm.
And then you can start to get the answers that you need.
Yeah, exactly. Like the information is there. It's
Yeah.
how do you extrapolate what you need to be able to
Hmm.
move forward, to be successful, to successfully plan, to help the people that work for you work smarter, not harder. And I think if we have the intention and we have that focus, there's professionals like yourself that can really help dive deep
Yeah, and
into what
it's
you actually have there and what it could do for you. It's
yeah,
gold.
patterns in the data, oh, we're ordering this like every week. Well, let's increase our order and order it once a month. Do we have the storage space for that? Or is it in and out the door? Lots of different things that you might be able to see that you hadn't even thought about.
That's true. That's true. All right, let's get to our last article because we got just under 3 minutes. So the last
Ah!
one is, what the heck is happening with fertilizer? Well, I don't know if you guys know this, but this is an urgent crisis. Food prices have already gone up, I think something like 13% or something like that. China is stockpiling fertilizer. The Russia Ukraine war is stopping us from having fertilizer, which means, and this is what it means to you, Brazil, they're decreasing the production of soybeans by 14% because they cannot get fertilizer. Costa Rica decreasing coffee by 15%, and West Africa rice and corn by a third because they can't get fertilizer. So this is a challenge. So if you're in this industry, know anybody in this industry, they definitely need some help with supply chain right now so that we can get this fertilizer to the people that need it so that we can keep the food prices down. But one other interesting thing is that manure in Nebraska has doubled because they're actually looking at manure instead of fertilizer. I'm not entirely sure how that works,
I
but
thought it was the same thing, to be honest. So that was a news to me.
yeah, right. Fertilizer and manure. I kind of thought the same thing too. I mean, I don't really know too much about it, but it's definitely something that we've got to keep an eye on. The other thing that came up this morning when I was watching HLN, which you guys know I like that news program because of Robin Mead. They were talking about a shortage of baby formula, which is not good either. Our
Yeah.
shelves in the United States are getting empty, and so parents of newborns and babies are really in a crisis state right now around baby formula. So, two things that are in short supply right now, other than wine and spirits, because of supply chain disruptions, and a couple of things to look out for and keep an eye on. We are 1 minute left. Susan, what do you want to leave everybody with today?
So it's going to offend some people. It's the vegans and the vegetarians. Just kidding, just kidding. But generally, we are moving towards more of a plant-based diet. So
Mm,
demand is going to be higher. And then if other people are stockpiling, restricting, then that's going to cause issues.
absolutely.
So we need to find a way around it, or there's going to be a lot more manure.
And we have a whole community of problem solvers. So if we can't
Yeah.
do it, nobody can. Anyways, that's it for today's show. Susan Walsh, thank you so much for joining me
Thank
as a
you.
guest. Audrey Ross will be back in the hot seat next week. And thank you all in the audience for all your amazing comments and engaging and just being with us today. I hope you have an amazing week ahead. Bye, everybody.